Here we have two Colombian Tetra Fry along nicely in this tank. This is my 10-gallon bedroom tank. I removed the Java moss from the other potting soil tank because it was heavily infested with green hair algae, and I tied it to this driftwood decoration and put the decoration in my 75-gallon tank for 24 hours to allow the true Siamese algae eaters to consume the hair algae. I didn't want to leave it in there any longer because I think that the algae eaters and the black mollies tend to tear it off of the decoration, if not consume it. So after 24 hours I moved it into this tank, and it may still contain green hair algae. I'm not sure at this point, but I think it looks quite nice in this tank. And at this point I only have, the only animals in the tank are two nerite snails, but I want to save this tank as a grow out tank for Colombian Tetra Fry. Once the juveniles get big enough, I'll move them into this tank, and then I can continue to save fry from the 120-gallon tank, and the juveniles won't consume the hatchling Colombian Tetra. Here you can see one of the nerite snails munching on a piece of cucumber that's been in the tank for over 24 hours, but it's still munching on it, so I decided to leave it in here. Here's the second nerite snail beneath the leaf of this water wisteria. The water wisteria continues to have algae or precipitate from the potting soil on the lower leaves, but I decided to let it go. If I clip the healthy stalks and replant them, inevitably lower leaves have this brown algae and or potting soil on the lower leaves. Here is the shrimp tank after I removed most of the Java moss from the background that was infested with green hair algae. I also did a 50% water change in hopes of removing a lot of the nutrients from the water column that's feeding the algae. I'm hesitant to do a larger water change because even though I'm using water from another tank to replace the water I remove, I'm afraid that changes in the water chemistry might affect the shrimp. They tend to be rather delicate and sensitive to those type of changes. So I've cut way back on the photo period and feeding, and hopefully eventually the fast growing plants will outcompete algae for nutrients. I believe my South American bumblebee catfish is more at home in the tank because I see him a lot more frequently. For years he's stayed hidden most of the time. He's a cute little fish.